What's up, guys? I just got finished watching the Q&A session with 704 Games and Jeff Favignano. So I'm just gonna gloss through it and just give you what the most important aspects of the Q&A for me. Um, just the highlights, right? So I don't want to drag it on too long or anything like that. I just want to talk about the most important aspects, right? So right off the bat, what they got into was the physics. Those of you who have been concerned about physics or have been kind of skeptical on whether or not this is going to be improved or did they actually do anything to really change it or improve it, they really got into a lot of detail about it. So the answer is yes. They said the game feels completely different than NASCAR Heat 3, but he said something else that I've been telling you guys for a long time. You're not going to be able to tell anything about the physics from looking at gameplay video. You have to actually play it. When you have a controller or a wheel in your hand and you're actually playing it, that's when you get the feedback, right? From the track and the car and how everything's working. It's very hard to see that in gameplay video. And I've always told you guys that you really got to play it to see it. And that's exactly what I think his name is Zane was talking about. But they talked a lot about it. They talked about the tire model. They talked about, you know, even things like cars overheating, not overheating, but I guess running hot when they're drafting at a restrictor plate track. Things like that. There's a lot of detail that they have really worked on a lot of things, and I'm actually surprised. I mean, it didn't look early on to me like they got a lot done this year, and the more and more I see and hear about this game, it's they really did do a lot, and I'm impressed. So the physics, they're all out there with it. They're like, yes, and I've said this before. When they talk a lot about something and show it off, or things like that, they're confident. And that's the thing that I walk away with. That there's a lot of confidence here when it comes to physics. Graphics, right? They talked a lot about that. They're very proud of it, and they should be. The game looks way better. Earlier today, I saw another teaser trailer for Jeff Gordon's Legend car, um, and I suggest you guys check it out because I've killed these guys on marketing, right? And I still think they have a long way to go. But this particular teaser trailer is the first one that actually impressed me, and I'll tell you why. I don't like the fucking music in the background with the video, and usually I don't like these choppy edits to these trailers where it's like a million cuts. 99% of the time I don't like it. But this video, it works. And the reason it works is the way they chose to edit the video. They actually spliced in live race video footage, and they cut it with the gameplay footage. So it was almost seamless. Like every cut, it felt like it was the same thing you were looking at, and it felt like part of the game. And if you really look, you realize, holy shit, that's real game. That's real race footage. And it was at Homestead, and you see Jeff Gordon's 24 car, the Exalta car, in the game, and then you see the real life, and in the game, in the real life video footage, but it was cut perfectly as one video. And there were moments where I didn't even know if I was looking at the game or real life footage. That's amazing. That was a genius decision to edit that video that way. That's the first time they did something marketing wise that I was impressed with. And it's just I don't know who decided to do that editing that way or who thought of that. Hey, let's show Jeff Gordon's car in the game, and then the real life, back and forth will cut back and forth, and have it all like it's the same footage. I was really impressed with it. So that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, because mentioning the graphics, really, that the graphics are good, and to be able to do that in that trailer, it really did impress me. So the graphics, they talked about the sound. That's another thing that you guys know how excited I am about it. And they confirmed that they actually put microphones and audio equipment in real cars out at Auto Club, not just Cup cars, Xfinity and truck. These are the things I've been talking about. Those of you who have been following me, you've heard me talk about this stuff before. The only way they're ever going to get authentic NASCAR audio sounds is to record the actual cars on the track. It's not going to happen on a dyno or any of the other ways they've been doing it. They finally did it and they nailed it. And Jeff Favignano was pumped up about it, and the other guy too. They talked about immersion, the things I'm always talking about. When you play this game, you're going to find out how important the sound is. And you're going to remember that I've been talking about this for years. And finally, it just feels good that something I've been pushing for is finally coming to fruition. So, I'm excited. And that's what you want when you play this game. You want to be immersed in the experience, like, wow, this sounds like a real stock car. Look, and the visuals, this game looks so much better. Um, Speaking of graphics, that guy Zane brought up something I was just talking about the other day. That pop in with the fence and that line that pops up, that screen tearing, where the track is the shadow of the fence was rendering right in front of the car as you're driving. That's gone. And they talked about it and he confirmed it, and it was like, wow. And he was like, that was annoying to him. So what I like is that I don't know who this Zane guy is, but he sounds like one of us, a fan of the games. And so it was good to hear that. I was just talking about that, and I'm glad it's gone. They confirmed it. It's been fixed. So that's another thing. Then they talked about the AI, of course. We know the AI spreads out. They run different lines. He talked about how the AI races at particular points in the race. He did talk more about restrictor plate racing, Daytona, Talladega, how that's going to play out. You're going to see uh, cars fighting for position, and yeah, you're going to see those conga lines, right? Because that's part of Daytona and Talladega, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to see it at other tracks. That's been my point. But he said even there, after a while, you're going to have some of the AI get antsy. They're going to want to make moves, and they'll get out of line, and they'll try to make a move. And drafting in this game is going to be critical. So with the new aero package, so you're going to have to really work with the AI. So I'm excited. It really sounds good. Um, and here's something that really excited me, which we haven't really heard this year anything about until now. They did bring up the pit strategy, which is a big problem for everyone. I would assume that when you pit and you come out and you lose 30 spots, he said that's not going to happen anymore. Now, he did say that if there's a short cycle, right, like maybe you just pitted and there's a caution later, just a few laps, yeah, you might have AI that decides to stay out, but that's okay. I can live with that. It's just a couple of laps. But he said that if they have any real wear on their tires, they're coming in. So that's gonna be if not gone, it's gonna be virtually eliminated, right? Um, Also the pit times are gonna be different, especially when it comes to uh, owner's mode and you're dealing with your pit crew, there's going to be differences of like maybe 15, 16 second pit stops all the way down to 13 second, 12 second. That's a big deal. And it also gives you that extra added uh, immersive part of racing that you now have to consider and think about. And as an owner, it's like they said, you can make your pit crew, get them to be quicker, but they might make more mistakes, or you get them more consistent, but they just won't be as quick. I love that stuff. You're gonna have the opportunity to develop your team the way you want it, and that's I love the direction these guys are going. Everything this guy Zane talked about, he just sounds like one of us, right? The type of things we've been wanting, he's there. I don't know if he's actually one of the guys who actually sits there and crunches the numbers and actually develops the game, or he's part of the team that makes suggestions, planning, stuff like that. I don't really know what his role is in 704, but he works for 704, and he definitely has influence in making suggestions because he brought that up throughout the Q&A. And another thing he talked a lot about was that 704 does listen to us. And I got that sense already because you can see that, right? Every year they're adding things, they are listening to the community, but he told us directly, yeah, we are aware of the things you guys are talking about, asking for, bringing up, but it's just good to hear that acknowledgement. So that's really good, and it gives me that added energy, right? Because you do need that. You got to get pumped up because after a while you could hit a wall, and then you're like, am I doing this for nothing? Is this a big waste of time? Are they really listening? So it's good that they're letting us know, hey, we got it. We know the things people have been asking for. We are aware of it. We're watching the community. So it's just good to hear that. So the pit strategy's been improved. He did talk about paint booth, and he did confirm that no, we're not. There's no major improvements. They did do. He said they added some templates, which is better than nothing. How many, I don't know, and I would not expect a whole bunch. The other thing that I recently talked about was the color palette, right? It's really not that good. And he said they expanded on it. You're going to have more colors to choose from, and it should be better on that end. And one other thing that I haven't brought up, but it's always been a nuisance to me, when you are fiddling around with in the paint booth. I'm gonna call it a paint booth, right? It's not the Technics one, but it is what it is, right? But when you're fiddling around with it, you have to wait for that car to rotate, and it feels like it takes forever. So you could see the car, how it looks, the nose, the tail of the car, the side. Now you're gonna have control of that. So you can look at the car at any angle you want, and you can control that. So you don't have to sit there and wait. That was always annoying, and I'm glad they addressed that. So that's good. And he did talk more about that, saying that he's aware of the community and that they did look into it, but they just weren't able to really upgrade it this year because it's just they didn't have enough time. And looking at all the other things they've been working on, I get it. And a year is not a lot of time. So I'm okay with that for now. So just knowing that they know how badly we want that, we need that customization, and they are looking into it, I am really confident we're going to get that addressed. Hopefully next year. I don't want to think any further into it, but it's good that they know. The one thing they never spoke about throughout the video, and I am disappointed, they never talked about stats. I know we've been talking about this, and people have told me that, yeah, in the comment section somebody confirmed it, and yeah, I do believe that the stats have been upgraded or that they worked on it. I believe it because when I see everything else they worked on in the game, I would be shocked if they didn't at least tinker with it. but I would like to know something about it, and I was disappointed that they didn't get into it. But I will say that it's an interview, and just like any interview or Q&A session, there are things you're probably going to overlook or forget to ask or miss. So I just think it was an oversight. I wouldn't get too crazy about it. But it would be nice if we got some info on the stats. So if anybody at 704 is listening, even if I mean, just drop one of these teaser trailers you do. I don't know, or somebody, maybe this guy Zane could confirm or get into more detail about it uh, wherever he has to do it. But I did get a lot out of this. They got into a lot of detail about the physics and the AI and all this stuff. One last thing, towards the end of the video, he brought up something else that I just been talking about recently, the need for a forum. And he brought it up and he says that he's looking into uh, delivering a forum for the community for 704. And it's you need a hub where everyone can congregate and then have these interactions, right? That's what a forum is. It's a discussion board. And he said that, yeah, 704 is kind of spread out. You've got, Facebook and Twitter, and it's like that's not the way to do it. So I was happy to hear that because I that's what I've been talking about. We do need a forum, and it'd be great, and it'd be cool to have not just the fans there and the consumer base, but all the YouTubers, all the people that are into this stuff and talk about it. We can all be there together as a community, and 704 and this guy Zane can come in and, you know, touch base with us, right? I don't expect a guy like that to be there all the time or answer every question, but he can pop in from time to time, check out what we're talking about, and even answer questions from time to time. At the very least, he will be aware of what we want. And that's the most important thing, right? That we get what we want. And they're delivering. So I'm going to cut the video at this point. My battery is dying. And in either case, I pretty much touched on everything. So I hope you guys got something out of it. These are my thoughts on it. Pretty much glossing over what they talked about. There wasn't a lot of new stuff, but what they did talk about that was kind of new was very important. Most importantly, like the pitch strategy, stuff like that, and physics. Uh, we got a lot of detail on the physics. So check out the video and let me know what you guys think. So I look forward to your comments. See you guys around.